Kafisaro last year was 570 billion. For 2026, is asa 500 billion also. Kaya hindi kumikilos ang ekonomiya ng ating bansa dahil nakaipat yung 1 trillion budget na yun. I feel it's being weaponized.
Welcome to Bosses. Ang boss, my bosses. This is not a podcast of colors, not yellow, red, green, blue, or pink. This is a podcast for Filipinos. Those who feel they're not heard, struggling to get by, and those searching for hope. Here, we don't favor personalities. We discuss issues, ask questions, listen to overlooked stories, and challenge power when it forgets the people. Because democracy is not only about the loudest voices, it's also about giving a voice to those told to stay quiet. This is Bosses. Ang boss, my bosses. And today, we are pleased to have with us former Congresswoman Bernadette Herrera. Welcome to our show, Bosses.
Thank you, hi Ad, and thanks for having me. It's an honor for me to be here.
Diretso na tayo sa
Yes,
mga
go ahead.
maanghang na tanong because masyadong maingay na sa social media. We've been discussing so many issues, concerns, and topics concerning the budget cycle. And I think being in the Congress for quite lengthy of time, and you have such wealth of experience in how this budget cycle is being done. Tell us or walk us through paano ba ito sa ordinaryong Pilipino.
Well, syempre, di ba, it starts from us paying our taxes. So yung taxes natin, pupunta siya sa Bureau of Treasury. From Bureau of Treasury, siya, andun yung pera, mag-budget call ang DBM so that the departments now can submit their budgets. Bibigyan ng guidance ng DBM kung ano yung budget ceiling ng bawat ahensya. Tapos yung mga ahensya will submit now their budget proposal, and then the budget proposal will now be summarized by the DBM. Then DBM will now prepare the National Expenditure Program. So yun yung budget ngayon ng Presidente. Yung National Expenditure Program, dadalhin ngayon sa amin sa Kongreso kasi the power of the purse belongs to the Congress and House of Representatives na nagsisimula. So pagkatapos sa amin, syempre, yung NEP, we have to scrutinize the NEP. Kung meron bang sobrang pondo sa isang bagay, may kulang bang pondo sa isang bagay. So that's when we start in the House of Representatives. After sa amin, magiging HGAB na siya. Yun yung General Appropriations Bill. Tapos from our HGAB, pag natapos na kami, we now forward it to the Senate. So the Senate will now do their part. So merong Senate version naman. From the House version, Senate version, because if there are supposed to be disagreeing provisions, so we now form the BICAM.
Okay.
So from the BICAM, after the BICAM, babalik na ulit siya sa respective houses para i-ratify. And then once read in third reading, pasa na naman siya sa Malacanang para pag napirmahan ni Presidente, it now becomes a General Appropriations Act.
Para lang mas malinaw sa atin, ano yung NEP, NEP na tinatawag versus GAA?
Ang NEP is the National Expenditure Program. This is the President's budget.
The President's
Yeah,
budget.
ito yung sinasubmit sa amin para from us, from House of Representatives, we now make changes kung ano yung what we deem fit. So mag-ano kami, meron kaming i-amend ng mga provisions, may dadagdagan ng pondo, may babawasan ng pondo.
Okay.
And then from there,
So
magiging
parang ito yung working budget ninyo,
ng Presidente
Ng Presidente.
muna. After NEP, magiging HGAB
magiging HGAB,
sa House of Representatives.
at magkakaroon ng version
Senate
ang
version.
Senate.
Tapos afterwards, may BICAM,
Pag na-form or na-finalize, nagiging GAA.
Once the President signs it, it now
Okay.
becomes a General Appropriation,
Okay.
GAA.
So, malinaw yon. But, let me ask, saan sa journey na to or saan mo nakikita na nagkakaroon ng vulnerabilities, ng manipulation?
Well, syempre, every step of the way naman,
Every
diba?
step.
Every step of the way naman. Dahil, syempre, hindi rubber stamp ang Kongreso. So, kung ano yung sinibit ng Presidente sa amin, we have to scrutinize it. Meron kasing minsan yung tinatawag natin, minsan may mga amounts na ang laki, lump sum na alam mong hindi naman matatapos for the year. So, yun ang mga bagay na babawasan namin. Dahil meron naman tayong mga distrito or meron kaming, for example, mga priority programs which gusto naming mas malagyan ng pondo. So, doon namin yun ilalagay yun kung saan nakikita namin. So, sa mga party list, we have our own respective sectors na gusto naming supportan. Like ako, yung sa solo parents, sa women, sa children. So, meron akong mga priority projects na ang wish ko at pinapropose ko, sana doon mapunta. Ganon din naman ng mga distrito. Kung may mga projects sila na hindi napagbigyan. Kasi syempre, we request we as members of the House, we go around our different constituencies. Then sumusulat sa amin ng mayor, ang mga governors, ang mga board members, nagbibigay sa amin ng letter kung ano yung mga dapat gawin sa mga lugar nila. So we now write letters to DPWH na hoping maisama nila sa priorities nila, basta dapat ito shovel ready, dumaan sa RDC and all that. So, syempre, pag nakita namin wala siya sa National Expenditure Program, di doon kami magreklamo para hahanapan ngayon namin. Ako, what I do, naghahanap ako ng pwede kong bawasan para pag naghingi ako ng pondo for a certain thing, meron ako mapapakita. O ito, meron namang revenue. Merong sources of funds. Minsan, nakakita ako ng double entry.
Okay.
Same title sa DPWH. O, same title to. So, hindi mo pwedeng sabing walang pagkukunan. So, that's what I do. That's what a lot of members in Congress also
So parang
does.
nagkakaroon ng mga internal negotiations din among congressmen and also
Hindi naman sa internal
departments.
because you have to propose it eh.
Okay.
So, kaya ang maganda sa pagkang amendments, kaya tinatawag siyang amendments pag House of Representatives kasi dumaan pa rin siya sa proseso. Diba? Kasi syempre, pag naman lalabas yung age gap, titingnan pa rin kung ano yung mga nabago doon. So, may process pa rin siya. Ganon din sa Senate pag nag-amend sila. Ang pinakamahirap, pag nag-amend ng BICAM. Kasi normally, according to IBP, doon nagiging unconstitutional because it is not a separate house. It is not a separate, chamber. It's not a separate chamber. Ang chamber lang, Senate saka House of
So
Representatives.
kung potential na maging unconstitutional ito, do we say that pag NEP, sure na yung mga budget items
No.
doon? Not yet.
Kasi nga
And
magtatanggal ka
if it's
dun eh.
GAA also, it doesn't mean also necessarily mean na may budget ito kaagad.
Well, unfortunately, yun ang sinasabi ko because GAA is supposed to be a release document.
Okay.
SARO dapat siya eh.
Okay.
Yung release document
So
dapat siya.
dapat meron siyang budget
Supposed
na
to be
talaga.
lahat ng nasa GAA except yung mga tinatawag nating, meron tayong FLR office SARO, yung for later release, or yung for issuance of SARO pa lang. Dahil dapat the whole GAA is already a SARO document. Dapat yan. Pero, pag lump sum or may conditions, yun lang ang dapat naka-FISARO. Unfortunately, nagkakaroon ng FISARO even for those that are in the NEP. Kasi pag nasa NEP yan at pumasok yan hanggang GAA at line item yan, hindi yan pwedeng i-FISARO.
Ulitin natin, ano ang SARO at FISARO? Yan.
SARO, ito yung allotment order.
Special allotment
release
Release
order.
order. And ang FISARO,
ang FISARO is for issuance of
for
SARO.
issuance of SARO.
So, ibig sabihin, delayed yung release ng SARO. Pero on two conditions lang yun, Ann. At yun ang paulit-ulit naming sinasabi. You can only make a FISARO for lump sum appropriations within the GAA and those with specific conditions at na sinasabi na, ito, bago mo i-release ito. But for line items and for those in the NEP, for those na dumaan sa NEP, GA, HGAB, Senate, at saka GAA, dapat hindi. Pero, nagiging FISARO. So, nagkakaroon tuloy na hindi tuloy maalis sa isip ng tao na nawe-weaponize siya. Like for example, ako, noong 2025, naka-FLR pa rin hanggang ngayon, or ang for later release and FISARO are the same. Hanggang ngayon naka-FLR. And I think it's because we voted no to the impeachment. So, hindi dapat. Kaya I'm calling the attention of DBM, calling the attention of DPWH, kasi hindi naman nila pwedeng, may validity period pa yan ng 2 years eh. But it seems until now, ang daming naka-FISARO. For your information, ang naka-FISARO for 2025 is nasa mga 500 billion.
So, what you're saying, to my mind, kaya yung cycle of magkakaroon ng mga partisans, magkakaroon ng mga favors and unfavors, it's because of nagiging carrot on the stick ang budget.
Yes, it was a
Kung-
surprise also
okay.
for us.
So, ganun na ba yung kalakaran nito noon pa? Para, okay, ang administrasyon, kapag ka nagsalita ka ng laban dito, it's like, bata, no? Hindi kita bibigyan lollipop, bawal ngayon kasi you're naughty. Pero kung good and obedient and submissive congressman or congresswoman ka, sige, tuloy ang biyaya.
Well, last year's experience seemed that way. Because it happened to us. And it happened to a lot of us. This year, tingnan natin, kasi like I said, ang naka-FISARO last year was 570 billion. Ang naka-FISARO for 2026 is asa 500 billion also. So that's 1 trillion ha. Kaya hindi kumikilos ang ekonomiya ng ating bansa dahil nakaipat yung 1 trillion budget na yun. So the question is why? These are not lump sum appropriations. These do not have conditions.
So, palagay mo, bakit?
Hindi ko rin alam. Tignan natin. Ako, well, I feel it's being weaponized. I hope not, but I can't be wrong. Pero makikita natin yan sa kung anong mga i-release itong 2026 and if they will release sa 2025. Di ba nawala ng pambayad dun sa
Servers.
dun sa servers natin. But we have 27 billion in earmarked revenues that can be used precisely for that. O pero nasa ng cash? It's an accounting entry, di ba? Yun ang sagot sa
Yeah,
akin.
it's an accounting entry.
But it's earmarked eh. Ang sabi sa akin, nung nakikipagdebate ako, anytime an agency needs it, it's there. O bakit nung kailangan ng DICT? Bakit wala? So, ibig sabihin, nagamit yung cash. So, walang pambayad para dun sa servers na yun. So, dito sinasabing, yung cash is fungible, should be limited. Otherwise, pag kailangan na ng pera ng ahensya at kung saan namin in-earmark to, then, naging baliwala yung batas namin to earmark it.
Lagi nating naririnig ang term na unprogrammed appropriation. Tell us, what's unprogrammed appropriation?
Well, and program kasi is a standby authorization dahil meron tayong mga bagay na, we in Bagong Henerasyon Party List, ayaw namin may unprogram. Kasi we can always pass a supplemental budget. Diba? Madali naman, pagka sinertify naman na urgent ng Pangulo, kaya naman namin mag-supplemental. But, unprogram, ang issue kasi dyan is pag nagkaroon ka ng excess revenue on non-tax revenue items. So, kumbaga, yung ina-expect mo, mas tumaas, so meron kang naging extra revenue na hindi mo na i-program. So, ibig sabihin, pwede kang mag-program ng bago kaya sa unprogram. Now, tatlo yan eh. Second, meron tayong kunwari, may pinasa kaming batas ngayon. So, meron siyang gains for next year na hindi naman nasama sa, so magiging unprogram siya kasi may papasok eh. Kung may pinasa kaming bagong batas in January, we will expect income from that or revenue from that, then unprogram siya kasi hindi siya kasama dun sa pinapasa mong budget. Or foreign assisted loans. So, yun yung 3 sources of revenue ng unprogrammed. Kasi dumating siya within that year na hindi siya kasama ngayon sa GAA. Kaya siya naging unprogrammed. Pero sa akin, sa amin, sa Bagong Henerasyon, mas gusto ko na pag pumasok yun, mag-supplemental budget na lang tayo.
So, para ba siyang nagiging standby money?
Yeah.
But who determines kailan siya dapat i-spend? At what point?
It's DBM. Kasi pag pumasok. Pero nakalagay naman doon, upon the approval of the President. Yun yung pinagtatalunan ngayon sa Supreme Court kasi maraming nabago. Nung pumasok yan, kasi ang isang tinatanong ko dyan, ang baba ng target nila sa non-tax revenue. Normally naman, ang pumapasok 300 billion, 400 billion, pero lagi ang target namin nasa 200. Di ibig sabihin, lagi kaming may excess revenue. Di laging may unprogram. Di ba? Nag-explain mo. So, yun yung mga, tapos, naka-lump sum lang ang unprogram. At may special provision pa that the use of one purpose can be transferred to the other purpose if it's needed to cover a deficiency. So, too much discretion. Too much discretion.
If there's too much discretion, it's safe to say that the unprogrammed appropriation can be considered a hiding place.
Para bang nagsubmit lang sila sa amin na, ito yung mga priorities namin, pero pwede naman yung mapalitan. So kung kailan mo gusto, kaya nga na-surprise kami, 80 billion of unprogrammed were spent for flood control. Wala naman yan dun sa initial na submitted sa amin sa House of Representatives.
Anong nagiging kulang dito? Kung siya yung nagiging hiding place for potential corruption, paano natin ito mailalabas?
Hindi naman natin masabing hiding place siya for potential corruption na. Because nagkaroon naman tayo ng program before. Yeah. Oo.
Hindi lahat, pero
it was just abused. Kasi maganda naman sana yung unprogrammed because it
lately
allows...
kasi nag-blow up na talaga
yung lumaki.
Yung corruption. Kaya sobrang kitang-kita na siya that now the people, based on general perception, sa unprogrammed appropriation, kaya yun ang palaging tanong, ano ba yung unprogrammed? Paano ba ito? Ito ba talaga yung ginamit na tool for this corruption to happen? So, kung maganda naman siya because it gives a leeway, a breathing room for the government to accommodate
for emergencies, for disasters, for
more priority programs, paano natin masasabi na is it because the lack of scrutiny or public access to this kind
the
of...
difficulty with an program is nobody scrutinizes it until the following year. Kasi malalaman pa lang namin kung saan nila ginastos yun pagdating ng next budget deliberation.
I see.
So, tapos kung ano yung items na doon, kung pinalitan nila at hindi na namin malalaman until the next year. That's why bulag kami sa both houses of Congress.
Anong solusyon natin dito?
Walang unprogram.
Tanggalin ang unprogram.
Tanggalin, kasi pwede ka naman mag-supplemental budget.
Okay.
It's easy naman to pass. We've done 5 supplemental budgets in the history of our country. And even as low as parang 20 billion or something. So, kaya mo mag-supplemental budget.
Pag-usapan natin ang PhilHealth na to. Kasi though may mga nauna nang nagsalita about this, and then even the Supreme Court deemed it is not legal to transfer
kasi
a revenue.
Kasi earmarked sa by law eh. Diba? Yung PhilHealth kasi yung mga earmarked by law na kasi yung universal healthcare yan eh. So yun yung ginamit kasi nila eh.
But what prompted them to do that? Anong law ang basis nila para i-move yung 60 how many billions of pesos?
Because nagdagdag sila ng letter D sa special provision ng unprogrammed appropriations.
So kung merong ganyan na additional provision, So, dapat lawful yung ginawang transfer. Pero sabi ng Supreme Court,
Kaya-
it is not.
Precisely, kasi ibig sabihin, ini-invalidate nila to.
Yung 2024
Yung
special provision.
Itong special provision, dapat specific. That's why yun yung kulang pa na dapat gawing unlawful itong mismong letter D na dinagdag.
When you say this special provision that was inserted during 2024, BICAM, it is only a rule inside the BICAM but it's not a law.
No, it's a law. Kasi
It's a law.
pasado to eh.
Pasado siya.
Oo, pasado siya.
I'm confused right now. So, kung law na siya, it made the 60 billion transfer
Yeah, but
lawful.
somebody questioned it in the Supreme Court. It was lawful until it was questioned
okay.
in the Supreme
So,
Court.
anything can be lawful until...
It's questioned.
It's questioned.
Yeah, kasi basta batas na siya, kasi GAA is a law.
Mm-mm.
So, batas na siya. So, lawful siya.
Mhm.
Until somebody questions it before the Supreme Court. That's why I'm happy somebody questioned it in the Supreme Court. At least, naging unlawful siya.
Okay. Kaya pinabalik ngayon
Yung pera.
Pero, ang question ng marami doon, kung natanggal siya 2024 budget at pinababalik, yung tanong ng marami is, yung 60 billion na ba na yon na appropriate na siya sa actual projects at nagkaroon na ng disbursement? So, meaning nakuha siya sa totoong budget. Kung natanggalan ka ng 60 billion pero sa PhilHealth naman siya, tapos pinasasole, sino talaga ang nagsole? Hindi ba tayo?
Hindi tayo ulit. GAA ulit yan. Binawas yan sa 2025. Kasi ginastos na yan sa program noong 2024. So, pag ibabalik mo, then binalik mo, sa GAA mo na lang kinuha. Kasi
So,
dapat
para-
naman kasi, yung kung saan man nila ginamit, yung 60 billion, dapat kasi yun sa GAA kinuha, doon sa program. So ngayon, binawi mo ngayon sa 2025 program.
Hindi to talagang pera ng PhilHealth per se or
Pera ng PhilHealth to. Cash ng PhilHealth. Cash ng PhilHealth.
cash ng PhilHealth,
Mm.
pero nagastos ngayon
Sa
other projects, pero yung pinangbalik papunta sa PhilHealth again is budget
Yeah,
ng
dahil
bayan.
taxes natin. Taxes ng mga Pilipino.
So in other words, para tayong nagisa sa ating sariling mantika. Tama ba yan?
Well, yun yung, basically, yun yung masaklap kasi doon when you use the cash, parang na hindi siya kasama sa program naman. Kasi if it was so important, why was it in the program?
May
At saka ang masakit pa nga
Okay.
dito, mas nauuna pang mapondohan yung unprogram bago sa program.
In your own opinion, based on how you define the budget cycle, how all of these unprogrammed appropriations should take place and should not take place, do you think there's merit to the complaint of Dr. Liechon about this PhilHealth transfer?
O naman. Kasi talaga hindi naman dapat na-transfer yan. Kasi those are earmarked revenues. Like, ulitin ko, earmarked yan ng ating Universal Healthcare Law. So it's not supposed to be used as, para rin siyang DAP in a sense, di ba, naging unconstitutional yung DAP. Kasi may sariling use yan eh. Pero nilipat mo yung use niya. Tapos saan program mo pa nilagay? Ang masama pa nun, kinuha mo, tapos dinala mo pa sa hindi nakaprogram. May nakatenga kang items, may mga program na hindi na-implement. Pero yung perang kinuha mo sa PhilHealth, ginamit mo pa para sa hindi nakaprograma. There's no logic and no sense doon. Kaya kaya kami pinapatanggal talaga namin yung unprogram kasi una-una parang parang alam mo yun, parang ginawa mo lang talaga magka-excess revenue. Kasi your target was much lower than your expected.
Let's explain what MOOE is.
Maintenance and other operating expenses.
Yes. Itong MOOE, parang monthly expense mo to, no? Na gagamitin mo saan? bagay?
Representation, travel, supplies, marami, iba-iba.
Pasweldo, kasama ba ang pasweldo dito?
Hindi,
Sa
personal yun eh. Personal yun. But allowances, pwede
Allowances?
dyan. Mga ano,
pag
mga
nagkaroon ng mga
examples.
conferences, nagkaroon ng mga...
Ayun, mga travel, representation, supplies, office materials, mga ganon. So, iba-iba.
In a normal budget for MOE, pantay-pantay ba ang bawat congressista?
Yes, para-parehas kami. Supposed to be. But, nung inaaral namin yung MOOE ngayon ng Congress, nakita nga namin, well, yung nilabas ni CJ. Siyempre, after she released it, inaral ko. Doon mo makikita kasi, kaya it begs the question now, na dapat tanong yan sa Committee on Accounts in the House of Representatives, kung saan din nila yung mga nilipat nila, inaugment nila kasi from MOOE, from marami silang nilipat from maraming naging nilipat from MOE from one item tapos nilipat sa ilang items lang, which is the extraordinary and miscellaneous expenses.
So, you just mentioned, pagkatapos nilabas ni CJ. So, meaning kung hindi may maglalabas ng citizen about this, hindi to pag-aaralan?
Kasi
ibig
normally
sabihin?
yung committee on accounts, hindi na namin yan kine-question norm. So, kasi parang since hindi ka naman nagtatanong, dahil ina-assume mo naman everything's in order.
Mhm.
Dahil normally naman hindi yan kasing laki as it was.
Normally.
Oo.
Okay.
Dati kasi hindi naman yan ganyan kalaki.
Oo.
Ngayon talagang sobra siyang lumobo.
When you say sa MOE na pantay, you just assume na pantay-pantay
Yes.
lahat ng
Mm-mm.
kongresista
Supposed to be, yeah.
pare-parehas ang natatanggap. Can we tell the public magkano ba ang natatanggap dapat?
Normally meron kaming mga around 1 million per month na pang-operate, kasama na sweldo namin ng sweldo tsaka operating expenses ng aming opisina and district offices. Kasi syempre we go around every time, tapos yung mga district congressman umuwi sila sa kanilang mga probinsya. So kasama yan lahat dun sa MOE namin, pagpapatakbo ng district offices namin.
And are you required
Tapos
to...
pang sweldo namin, kasi 5 lang naman ang plantilla ng member ng house.
okay.
Tapos we just have several consultants. But we have a lot of employees employed under us. So we make use of that MOE specifically for that.
Yeah. And you
Kaya
are
may SOCMED team
you
ako.
are required to liquidate that or
Liquidation by certification lang
Yes.
kami.
Okay. Now tell us what is liquidation by certification.
Pipirmahan lang namin na ginastos namin dun for our district. Ganun lang.
Sa normal corporate accounting, normally again, pinakagasgas na word natin to today. Normally, the accountants
Up to the
would-
last centavo.
up to the last
Yeah,
centavo,
may resibo.
meron tayong
Yeah.
resibo. Pinang taxi mo, pinangkain mo, school
Yeah.
supplies, etc. Lahat yan may resibo. Napakahigpit natin in the corporate profession in that environment. But in the government environment, bakit certification?
Merong batas na pinasa to formalize that.
Dahil ba mahirap mag-reimburse or
No,
mag-liquidate?
because it's just tedious, but I think that's why hindi naman nagrereklamo yung mga tao noon kasi alam din naman nila na ang nalalapitan nila kami.
Sana
What
meron
makes one
kayong
different?
dashboard no, na nakikita nyo lahat
Well,
ng
that's-
representatives.
yan
At ito ang mga
yan ang
MOE
hihingi
ng
natin.
bawat isa.
Kasi sabi ko nga sir, nagulat ako na hindi ni-release yung break bonus, yung break MOE ko when I did not sign the impeachment.
And this is not
And
just
saan
for
napunta
your
yun?
own determination. Pati public, gusto rin nating
Hindi, ang
malaman
tanong,
yan.
saan napunta? Sino gumamit nun?
Oo.
Kasi syempre, kung ilan yung hindi pumirma last term, add mo yun. So, saan ginastos yun? So, kailangan tanungin yun. Ito ngayon, hanggang ngayon, sinasabi, hindi pa rin nare-release yung kay Congressman Robert Nasal. So, tinatanong namin, meron ba o wala? Bakit wala? Anong determination? Bakit yung iba meron? Bakit yung iba wala? Who decides?
Yes, that's the question. Who decides?
Who decides? That's why.
That's my question to you. Who do you think decide?
Pinagpapasapasahan kami yun, so I really don't know. So, hopefully, sabi naman ni Kong Elisa, di ba? Kasi this is an entitlement of every member of Congress. And when we approve that budget, di ba? Sa akin, kung wala lahat, wala lahat. Kung meron, meron lahat. Di ba katulad sinabi ni Senator Miriam Defensor Santiago noon?
Yeah.
Sinabi rin niya bakit ang natanggap namin ganito, ang natanggap nila ganyan? Bawal yun.
Yung mga ganito bang amounts, nasa batas ba to para makita ng tao so that they can cross-check na ito dapat
Nasa batas siya because of the GAA.
of the GAA?
Oo, the GAA. Pero yung mismong detalye, wala.
Wala.
Kaya you have to...
Kaya kahit kayo, hindi nyo alam ang natatanggap ng kapwa kongresista.
Hindi. That's why kailangan alamin. Kasi it's supposed to be naman normally, equal naman yan. Sabihin, may extra yung officers, may extra yung may committees, may mga extra na tanggap namin because they have more work.
That naiintindihan ko kung nasa private company tayo na hindi tayo dapat nagkakaalaman ng sweldo,
No.
'di ba? Kung ikaw ay VP, ako ay AVP, pwede
Sa amin,
hindi
wala
ko
kami
malaman.
karapatan na hindi malaman.
Correct. But you are public servants.
Precisely. That's
You
why...
are public officials at pera ng taong bayan ang ginagamit. Hindi ba dapat may karapatan ang publiko malaman ano ang mga binibigay natin sa mga opisyales natin sa gobyerno?
I agree.
Pero
Kaya-
bakit hindi natin alam?
Because nobody bothers asking. Nobody really bothers na to be interested in it. They're not doing the right thing. Sabi ko kasi ang tagal-tagal nang nag-a-amend ng new item sa BICAM. Nobody even knew that it was
Na, mali.
mali. Diba? Because you've been doing it for so long that even those newcomer, kami, nabutan namin to, ganito yung akala namin tama, hanggang sa alam namin, nung nag-aaral na ako, mali pala.
Mali pala.
Diba?
Hindi ba dapat pagpasok sa gobyerno may briefing man lang para tayo sa
Pero
mga
paano kung yung
empleyado may
nagbe-briefing din sa'yo?
orientation?
Paano kung yung nagbe-briefing din sa'yo? Yung nakasanayan lang din yung alam nila eh. Kasi it's not being questioned before the Supreme Court. So it wasn't even declared unconstitutional. So
Grabe.
we've been, kaya so,
Ang daming mali, ang
Yes.
daming, parang
Ito lang
nakikita natin
yung FLR.
broken na talaga yung system,
sabi
ano?
kasi itong Fisaro, nobody even knows that they can complain. Ako, I'm the lone, parang ilan lang kami nagko-complain. Pero sabi ko, huy, ang pwede lang Fisaro, dalawa lang. Lump sum lang, tsaka those with specific provisions. Line items cannot. But it's happening.
That Parting words sa mga fellow congressistas, mga kasamahan natin sa trabaho, anong pwede mong sabihin sa kanila?
Well, sa mga dating kasamahan ko sa Kongreso, let's be, importante, let's not be afraid to speak up. Kasi hindi naman to ibig sabihin that we don't speak, if we speak up, kumakalaban tayo. No, this is our duty to help our country. Tandaan natin, lahat naman ng ginagawa natin, we are representatives of our people. So dapat lahat ng ginagawa natin, we consult our constituencies. And then of course, the final say is us kasi pinagkatiwalaan nila tayo. Sana yung pagdedesisyon natin is based on our principles and based on what you think is right for the country. Country first, diba? Country first, not the personalities. Because we were voted by the people. They trusted us. So ibalik natin sa kanilang tiwalang yun. Sa every decision we make, the decision should be for them. Not for the politicians, not for us, not for the leaders, diba? But for the country and its citizens. Yun lang.
Thank you very much. This has been Boss on the Spot. Thanks to our guest, former Congresswoman Bernadette Herrera, for joining us today and for generously sharing your time with us, your expertise, especially on budget cycle, the insights, and the honest opinions. Conversations like this help us better understand the issues that matter, encourage meaningful dialogue among Filipinos from all walks of life. And to our viewers, thank you for being part of this discussion. We'd love to hear your thoughts, reactions, or perspectives in the comment section. Let us know who you would like us to invite next time and what topic would like us to tackle. Until next time, thank you for watching and thank you for making your voice heard. This is Bosses, kung saan ang boss, may bosses.